3.8 out of 5.
Whoa, no!
That just doesn't work for us.
Sound, speeding, camera, rolling. C95, take 303, mark.
No half stars on take 303. No half stars on take 303. Alright, okay, no half stars on take 303.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by Fort Wayne Media, the podcast where the guy knows a lot about film.
And his friend.
I'm Nick Molinari.
I am JP Brooks.
We're talking everything film and television, and today we are talking about Gladiator II. But first, in cinematic news.
I'm not doing it.
Nicole Kidman. She's talking a lot like you lately. She says she has no regrets. No regrets about her viral AMC campaign. She said, you can meme me as much as you want.
Well, they paid her like $25 bill for that, didn't they?
Whatever she was paid, definitely a good amount. And from that, she's like, yeah, do whatever. She's like, I made my money. She's like, and it's not a bad ad either. It's just
it's a bad ad.
Unintentionally hilarious.
It's not it's not good either. Wait, you got it. There are differences to this.
Is it Buddy Mion, Choti Mion? Is it Megalopolis?
No.
Is it director's cut?
A commercial has a different aggregate than a movie. So to rate a commercial, it has to be memorable. It's memorably bad though.
Tomato. Sophie Turner is going to be casted as the new Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider series.
It's a bold choice.
Now you've been a big fan of the Tomb Raider series, mostly the video games. How do we feel about this?
I love Sarah Vikander.
You mean Alicia Vikander?
I've been...
My boy over here is 3 Modelo's deep.
That's not a lot. I don't know why in my head it was always Sarah Vikander. In terms of rating the Tomb Raider, we got 2011 girl, video game character. That's number 1. Alicia Vikander, number 2. Then you have Angelina Jolie, number 3.
Never say this around my dad. He will kill you for not putting Angelina Jolie as number 1.
Well, that's why your dad isn't on the show. Number 4 would be the PlayStation version.
Triangle chest?
Yes. And then number 5 would be, I guess, Sophie for now until she
Proves it.
Sophie Turner isn't an action star.
I cackled when I read this out. Tom Cruise said he's cautious about putting Ethan Hunt to bed as a character. He has sentiments that he would want to continue starring in new Mission Impossible movies for at least another 20 years or more.
I could definitely see him jump off a plane at 100.
At 8.
I would pay for that. He's in his walker just fucking... Yo, oof.
I would love if it slowed down to his age. It's like... Dun, dun, dun,
it's like a Mission Impossible type shit, off the stairs. Boom.
And last in cinematic news, Conan O'Brien is hosting the Oscars this year. I'm a big Conan fan. I like this. I think he's always funny. I think it'll be enjoyable. I sent you guys the document for the Broscars. Mm-hmm. We're getting ready for that. So we have to think about, what was the best movies of the year, what was the worst movies of the year, but also some of the oddball awards that we give out. And we got to think about new ones that we can introduce. I came up with a new one by myself. I was pretty excited about it. It was a shower thought. It's called the Pure Cinema Award. Now, we gave out an award last year called the Baddie. Hang on, you're going to like this. So, and it's actually inspired by one of your favorite filmmakers. Last year we gave out the Baddie. It's for the baddest movie of the year. Yeah. In a bad way. Mm-hmm. And now this year there's no award that we gave for the best movie of the year. Mm-hmm. And I think it's called the Pure Cinema Award. And it's because this movie is so good. It is pure cinema. And if you didn't understand it, you are too stupid because it is pure cinema. I know exactly. That is the Pure Cinema Award. And I already nominated 3 movies for it already.
Oh, man.
and that's the I gotta find a better working title for it. It's shortened to Pure Cinema, but it's the whole thing is Pure Cinema that is so cinema that you are too stupid to understand it. Award, and that I think fits our brand so well. I know you know exactly what movie I'm thinking.
Knows,
yeah, Tree of Life, 2012 inspired this. When we come back from the break, we will be talking more about Gladiator II.
Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a dream. Something that needs to be captured on the big screen. We at Fort Wayne Media love taking your passion projects and bringing them to life, whether you're a passionate artist or a small business owner. With expert videography and photography, we're going to take what you love to do, what you love to make, and transform it into a cinematic experience. Fort Wayne Media.
And we're back, and we're talking Sir Ridley Scott's Gladiator II, starring Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Fred Heichinger, Connie Nielsen, and Denzel Washington.
Gladiator II takes place years after witnessing the death of Maximus at the hands of his uncle. Lucius must enter the Colosseum after the powerful emperors of Rome conquers his home. With rage in his heart and the future of the empire at stake, he looks to the past to find the strength and honor needed to return the glory of Rome to its people.
It's crazy how JP's presence is so missed, especially in plot summaries, because it just feels so dead.
But it's not. I don't like. What was JP like? You want the real summary? Look,
yeah, go for it.
Fucking random guy who doesn't look like Lucius when he's young decides to become Lucius, even though he wasn't Lucius, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm Lucius now," and now I lead an army to a bunch of riders. Fuck it.
That's a JP.
That's a JP and then summary. We get like semi-retired Training Day Denzel Washington.
There you go. A little bit of a lore dump. If you haven't seen the original 2000s Gladiator, I have some beef with you because I went on a deep dive this morning and I watched one of those YouTube videos about recapping movies. And I did it really just for the memes, just to see like what kind of jokes they would make, because it's hilarious. I've seen Gladiator many times. You have.
That's my fucking.
Yeah, like that's why you love Russell Crowe.
Sidestepping to the sidestep itself, I have man crushes throughout my movie going experience. The top of my list is Kevin Costner. Yo, I love that man, and Russell Crowe. Yo. Russell Crowe, man. Russell Crowe.
That was a nice deep breath you took. So yeah, Russell Crowe really was solidified in the early 2000s because of Gladiator. Mm-hmm. And the movie is so good. But what I got upset with this morning was looking at comments of people saying that they had not seen the original Gladiator, that they had planned on seeing Gladiator 2 and needed to watch a recap and was totally satisfied with just that.
Nick,
because they fell asleep during the original or they didn't like the original and they needed a recap.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 31. A brisk 31.
I figured. We're fucking old, man. That's what it is. These kids are 17. I was actually, you know what's funnier is I was fighting to become more drunk, and in that process I noticed that a kid was on his phone on Instagram right in front of you.
Oh, I didn't see.
No, you couldn't because you had it like dark. But like in my I was seeing, yo, kid, I saw that you were trying to hook up with a girl. You gotta shorten those paragraphs. Like
not paragraphs.
I don't know if they're like either in a relationship or like she's giving him excuses why Gladiator 2 is like overrated as fuck. But like.
She probably went to go see Wicked.
Yo, my guy was fighting for his life because he was writing paragraphs back, and I'm like, I couldn't really read it because I didn't want to read it, but still, like, he was writing away. He was like...
Well, that gets to another pet peeve of mine, people that are on their phones in the movie theaters. Yeah. You sent me a meme the other day of a guy who was just flat out on his laptop in the middle of a movie theater. I don't understand you people. And I mean you people. But... That's a sidetrack that we don't have time for. So Gladiator 2, going into this movie, I heard about this for a long time coming. I saw the trailer. They really revealed the whole kind of plot in the trailer, basically. aside from maybe just the very bit at the ending.
I don't know. Like, I think they revealed the first half of the movie. They did
Yeah,
not reveal the second half.
That's what I'm saying. So the whole first, I'd say 90 minutes is in the
You
trailer.
could honestly buy it, like, if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could buy a ticket, come an hour late, and then you would still know what happened because of the trailer.
Exactly. Having been a Gladiator fan for most of our lives, are you entertained?
I guess.
Tell the people what you did in the theater. I sit down. This kid's got a whole bag of popcorn and he's double fisting 2 Modelo's. If I could have taken a picture, I would have. It would have been hilarious.
Listen,
and I think that taints his experience versus my experience.
No, it doesn't taint it. Look, guys. A good Gladiator 1, for all intents and purposes, is the perfect popcorn flick. Because it has a good story, good casting, good writing, for what it's intended to do, and excellent acting performances.
And I'll tell you, I rewatched Gladiator this morning just because I love the movie. And I just was like, let me see if there's any like little things that I might want to, revisit and just catch up on to make sure that I know every single thing going into Gladiator 2 in case there's little Easter eggs. And I want to make sure I really enjoy that experience. And when I was watching it, I couldn't help but realize this is such a simple movie. Like, not knocking it at all. It is clearly a 5-star movie. But when you think about the story, the stakes, everything is so simplified and so... I think simplified or basic are the wrong words here, but it's a classic hero story. Very straightforward.
Very straightforward. And I think that's Ridley Scott's problem right now. It's like Napoleon. This is too chaotic. This is a very chaotic movie. It's an entertaining chaotic. Like, it's not the worst movie of the year.
It's a mid-movie.
Especially, but you know who's going to be disappointed? People like us who are expecting a Gladiator-esque movie.
But see, that's where you're wrong, just slightly, because I expected...
No. Like I'm saying, and like the crowd that went, there was a lot of like parents with kids.
I was surprised by that.
I think it's because the parents were like, oh, Gladiator 1 was such a good film. Well, I think Gladiator 2 should be a good film as well, because Gladiator 2 I think is going to do a good box office weekend this weekend, but I think the word of mouth is going to kill it next weekend.
No one capitalized over the fact that Wicked and Gladiator are coming out the same weekend, similar to Barbenheimer. Like,
I don't think they marketed like
That's what I'm saying. They didn't capitalize on that at all, and they had a perfect opportunity, but they just didn't. And I feel like they could have gotten more tickets sold for that. Again, we're filming on Thursday night. This is very early into it. We don't even know what the word of mouth is going to be from the people from tonight.
I think I'm telling you right now, this weekend, Gladiator 2 is going to sweep. I think you can bet on it. Like, I think like it's the word of mouth is going to carry Wicked next weekend.
What I saw this morning also kind of explains how to feel about Gladiator 1 versus Gladiator 2 is a look of their movie posters. And I'm going to put them on the screen right now. If you look at the original Gladiator poster, absolutely iconic, is just the great Russell Crowe in front of the Coliseum holding the sword and everything. And then for Gladiator 2, you have Paul Mescal in front of the Coliseum with the sword. Same kind of idea. But then you have this whole split screen thing going on behind him with all the other characters involved in the movie. And that's the best way to describe Gladiator 2. It's that it's the exact same thing as Gladiator 1, except extra.
Watching the movie, right, from 0 seconds, when you got the fucking the text explaining what happened.
The opening crawl. So I had problems with the position, the transfer of powers in this movie.
Well, I was gonna. That's what I mean. Like, I don't so just in general, like, regular fans are gonna be like, so how did these two come to power?
Connie Nielsen drops a line of like how she had to rush Lucius out because they were gonna come after her, and I was like,
but even then, like that's still
that's an assumption.
That's like you don't know how the twins became.
Yeah, you don't know how they particularly got in there, but you could see how people were pushed out. But it's like a thing of like I was trying to figure it out because Connie Nielsen technically would be the next in line, but she's a woman, so I'm not sure if women can become emperor. I'm assuming no. And then the next in line is Lucius. Now, Lucius is a kid, and it would be like a Game of Thrones kind of thing where he rules the kingdom as like a young emperor.
Thing is, there have been kid emperors. It's just they've always had a emperor consort or the empress consort with the mother. So I don't know.
That could have happened, and I'm not sure why she just didn't allow that to happen, because in Gladiator 1, and that's why I think Gladiator 2 isn't faithful to the original in that sense.
It's not faithful to itself. Like,
that's what I'm saying, because they said, and I think she's the one who says it in the original, that her son is the heir to the throne. Yeah. After Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix's character dies, it should be Lucius that takes over, but it's for some reason not, to create drama. And then these two twins come out of nowhere.
The whole movie in itself started killing a lot of things. Like, so the first and most obvious one, my earlier rant was, correct me if I'm wrong, the kid is blonde. The kid is blonde, like even a dirty blonde at that. There's none, like, he's like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, he's Russell Crowe. He has the beard. But the kid had no resemblance of, the guy had no resemblance of himself. The queen tells him, Maximus, that's not, like, there was no, like, it was instantly, like, not only assumed, but it kind of like acknowledged that, yeah, Commodus and her had sex and had the kid. And all of a sudden, yeah, your father's Maximus. Yeah, she liked Maximus, but she like kind of felt like she was. That's the reason why she sort of was kind of like.
But wait, it's not assumed that it's Commodus's son.
At the first movie, yes, it was.
No.
She never mentions it to him.
No, she never mentions it, but it's loosely, a very loose line, where she explains that they used to be entwined, and you know. It was a long time ago. They said that, you know, the child was around 7 or 8, so it's kind of like loosely said that like it's most likely Maximus, because there's scenes where Joaquin Phoenix is like all over her and like advancing, and he's like, I want an heir, like, so I don't think it would be his.
Okay, fine, I'll accept that. Fine.
All right.
Second continuity.
Yeah.
So when Maximus dies, he states, hey, the senators are going to play a larger role.
And then all that goes out the window. Immediately. Because even when the opening crawl came on, they were like, years after Marcus Aurelius dies, I was like, I don't know. There was a whole movie about things that happened right after he died that kind of fixed what happened, but okay.
Gladiator 1, you felt that it was like Rome. Like, you felt the environment. Like, oh, yeah, this is like fucking Rome. The battles, too, felt epic. The battle sucked.
The CG really killed it here, because it just continuously felt very unrealistic. Like, it's so weird that the CGI in 2000, the year 2000, was just 10 times better than what we're getting here. All of it felt real. It looked realistic. The fight scenes looked better. And here, I think it's because they're going so over the top. They're trying to push the envelope a little bit further. Like when it comes to those dog monkeys, I don't know what the fuck that was. I thought I had the Modelos, because I was like, those don't look like monkeys or dogs. And I don't know why no one in this theater is yelling about this, because that's absurd. They just took you out of the moment. There's a lot of the animals, like I know the tigers in the first one were fake, but like they felt more real. You know, flooding the Coliseum is another thing. Putting in the sharks with the laser beams. That's a side note. They're shooting arrows across the two boats in the flooded Coliseum. There's a full audience 360 around them. The splash zone of these arrows are like right there. The fact that nobody got hit with a stray one is absolutely insane. This is kind of a thing that happens in Gladiator 1 too, but it happens so much more here, and I had to keep bringing it up because they keep giving these big-ass speeches in large-ass areas to armies of over 6,000 people. Well, the guys in the back aren't hearing that speech. Like, that wasn't even a great speech, so no harm, no foul. But the guys in the back that are cheering for you, they're just playing along. They didn't hear your speech. There's no way.
There's
And
100% like people like us in the back. We're just like, yeah.
hey, we did it. I thought we were here to fight. Like that message hasn't even gotten to the back. The guys in the back are still ready to fight. But yeah, so there's a lot of logical errors here and there. And I think it's something that Ridley Scott really doesn't care about at this point, because he said Napoleon, he was like, fuck it, let's go. I think
he's washed.
I think he's gotta throw in the towel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about performances here. I will say Joseph Quinn, I think, is
hilarious. He's great.
An absolute ham. He's killing it in the villain area. That's why I was sad that he's kind of like sidestepped in the second act. I think Paul Mescal does a really good job. I don't think he does as well as Russell Crowe. Like, it's not as memorable. I just can't feel for the character so much as, like, I like his acting. I don't like his character.
I don't like the writing for, like, again, there was no there was no motivation, like a right motive. I get the motivation. There wasn't right motivation.
I think it was overwritten as well.
Yeah.
You made a comment that it felt like you were watching Megalopolis again. There's definitely more dialogue here, like, going off of what you said about your parents watching Gladiator, that's what I meant, that it's such a simplistic story and it's really told well through its images versus the dialogue, that the dialogue, like, again, when I was watching it earlier, it's a 2.5, I think it's 2 hours and 30 minutes or 2 hours 35. It doesn't feel like that. It's such a breeze to get through. This one felt like a chore.
Senator Gracchus. Gracchus.
I know what you're talking about.
Why didn't he say a line? He was a major character in the last movie. Spoiler alert, he's back. I thought that was CGI. I could have sworn he died.
So there's a couple CGI shots I saw when they do the flashback scene to the little Lucius, and they do the...
No, well, that makes sense.
No, but that scene's not in the original movie, right?
Yes.
Just run with me here. I just looked it up. And it said that it's played by the same actor who played it in 2000. So it's CGI. They CGI'd the kid.
You think they is Senator Gracchus alive?
I don't know, but I know you... I was saying in the movie that Connie Nielsen looks incredibly good for... She's like almost 60 now. She barely looks like she aged at all. So I don't really know to the extent of the CGIing and the de-aging in this movie, but... Yeah, it looks really good for what it's worth.
He is still alive.
Good job.
86 years old. Good for you, man. Sir. He's a sir.
Sir.
He's Sir.
Well, I've been saying Sir Ridley Scott throughout this entire podcast.
No, he's Sir Derek Jacobi.
And you were really pulling for Russell Crowe to show up at the
I
end.
wanted... Like,
there's an Obi-Wan moment at the end of this movie, and I would have let it happen. If he came as a ghost, I would have been like, yeah.
So I wanted him to appear as a ghost, but I wanted him to appear as, like, now Russell Crowe. Not
like Pope's exorcist.
Yeah, like, oh, that would have been hilarious. I would have been like, yes, this guy did it. Back to the performances. Denzel Washington gives us his... what would happen if you put Training Day, Denzel Washington, into Romans?
So just Denzel Washington.
I think he phoned it in. Based it on Training Day. He saw Training Day like a day prior to him acting. He goes, that's what I'm going to do. He goes it, and then he just plays it off.
But see, that's why this one didn't feel as memorable, because think of him versus Joaquin Phoenix, where Joaquin Phoenix just feels like he was passed over by his own father.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And then this one's like, I just want power.
That's why the Stranger Guys got... I was going to say, I thought he died of an OD, and when you told me that's him, I'm like, that makes sense. I was calling him Dollar Tree Robert Downey Jr. And I'm like, yo, this guy is hilarious. Like, this guy is fucking doing fucking God signals type shit. He thinks he's a god. I'm like, yo, I could fucking hate this guy. And then he dies.
Spoiler. So here's just a quick sidetrack about performances. So I saw Gladiator when it first came out. Not in theaters, probably, like right when it came on VHS. And I obviously remember watching it with my dad. But another movie came out almost immediately after it. And you're going to hate me for saying this.
Here we go.
So A Knight's Tale came out not too long after it. I think you know where I'm going with this. For a long time, longer than I would like to admit. I mistook Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator for Rufus Sewell in A Knight's
You
Tale.
are an idiot.
And I could never figure out which guy was in which movie. They look almost identical to each other in these movies, which is hysterical because one is in ancient Rome and one is in medieval times.
Medieval England.
Medieval England. They should not look like each other, but they do. I'm gonna do a side by side. I'm gonna do a side by side in the reel.
You should do a side by side of young Robert Downey Jr. with him. With the you didn't even look. You thought I don't see it, but then when I mentioned it, you're like,
because I know who it is. But yeah, for a long time I couldn't figure out the difference between these two movies based on the villain, just because they look very similar. Anyways, what did we hate about this movie? Or favorite scenes? Favorite scenes.
when they go that. The opening credits, but I didn't think.
He's talking about there's a cartoon painting of the opening credits that recaps the first movie, and just Joaquin Phoenix, the meme of him wagging his tongue during the games. That's his favorite scene.
Woo!
JP, wherever you are, come back.
But no, my favorite scene would be them recognizing. Oh wait, you're my mom. Okay.
No, so I'm gonna refuse to give a favorite scene here because I think all the scenes kind of blended. Like, there's no standout scenes. Like, as you said, the action scenes aren't really like standing out. They're really nice set pieces, but overall they're very bland. They're very much on the same page. But when we're talking about just the regular scenes, they also don't stand out. But if you think about the original Gladiator, like, you could probably tell me your favorite scene or your favorite line. Like, things are popping out. Nothing really pops out here. And I was waiting for a moment where he can say his name, like the Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the army, father of a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife. Like, that whole speech, I was waiting for that moment. And they did a baby version of it. And I was like, it doesn't feel good. And also the side characters, I like them more. Rounder characters that I could really latch onto and be like, these are his bros, man. But there were no bros in this one. It wasn't a bro movie. In terms of things I didn't like, I would say just the little logistical errors. I think just it being very safe. I think this is a safe movie. I think it doesn't do anything spectacular. I think it just makes the original story just a little bit more complicated and have more storylines on top of it. It negates what was great about the first one, which was it was very simplified. It was like a classic hero's journey.
I'm starting to hate this movie. I'm not hating the movie, right? If this movie had not, like, if it didn't have Gladiator and it just had like some like fucking like Lucius type shit, like just Lucius as his name, whatever, or like a random Roman name.
I think Lucius is not a Roman name. While we keep saying it, it doesn't sound Roman.
But I'm just saying it because that was his name. But
yeah,
like if it had a random name, a random like director, this would have been
forgettable.
Yeah, this is a forgettable movie. Again, it was a funny movie.
It's an okay movie, but it's the TV version of Gladiator.
And you're saying, oh, this hurts Gladiator 1? No, I'm just gonna forget about this movie. Like, what are the brothers' names?
Emperor 1 and Emperor 2.
Emperor
like
1
that's what I'm saying. You
Emperor
don't care
2.
about these characters.
Yeah.
Honestly, for a good half of the movie, I thought Joseph Quinn was playing both of the emperors.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they doing the Army Hammer and Social Network thing? Or are these two completely different dudes? I really don't know. Final thoughts and ratings? Gladiator 2 is one that not only dumbs down the original Gladiator, but also adds extra layers to it. It is completely convoluted. It takes everything you loved about the first one and kind of throws it on its head. The performances, for the most part, are really good. We didn't talk about Connie Nielsen. I think she does a really good job, too, in this movie. I think the cast is doing well with what they have. I think the writing could use work. I think there is a lot of fluff in this movie. I think it's very safe. It's very mid. It's over the top in some portions. It's also so stylistic that it loses the heart that was in the first movie. The first movie had so much heart, so much going for it. The characters had motivations. You were able to root for people. Here, you're not really rooting for people. If anything, you don't care at all, and you're just going through the motions. And that's why Gladiator 2 is just not doing it for me, because there is no heart to this. It's very soulless. It is a passable movie. It's one that you can put on. You can put it on in the background, and you can just hang out with it. But it's not something that you're gonna really enjoy and delve into. It's not something you're gonna quote. It's not something you're gonna remember. 2 weeks from now, we're not gonna remember any of this.
I'm not gonna remember tomorrow.
It's gonna be a fever dream. Yeah. It's gonna go in the 2 area. So it's a 2 out of 5 for me.
I loved Gladiator growing up. Russell Crowe is the man. He had an excellent 3-year span. Gladiator. But
To go up to Cinderella Man?
Gladiator, Beautiful Mind, and Cinderella Man. Isn't that within 3 years? He did that
I
shit
think-
all back to back.
Hey Siri?
Mm-hmm.
What year did Cinderella Man come out?
Cinderella Man was released on May 28th, 2005.
Let's go.
Only thing I was wrong. But I mean, to find a 3-film peak. Ridley Scott is doing a weird injustice to himself. He solidified himself as one of the better epic history directors out there. He's directed Gladiator, Kingdom of Heaven. It's very underrated. Very underrated. I get why it's funny too, because that's one of his more mid movies.
If you want to sidetrack real quick, his filmography is so weird.
Yeah, it is. No, absolutely.
Because you got things like Black Rain, you have Black Hawk Down, you have Thelma and Louise, you have The Counselor. It is all over the place. All the Money in the World, Napoleon. It is just so weird.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the Ridley Scott that I know has made very solid to good films, to great films. You have Gladiator, you have Kingdom of Heaven, and you have what's the third one? What's the one with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon?
The Last Duel.
The Last Duel. The Last Duel was an excellent movie.
I personally love that movie. It got shitted on.
I don't know why. Excellent epic history. In fact, ironically, that is one of the better factual historical films for a man who does not give a shit about his historical facts. Unfortunately, people are going to be like, yo, don't go watch Gladiator 2 because it's a boring movie. People don't want to waste time. It's a very boring movie. This is a 2. This is a 2 out of 5. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did make one mistake earlier when I was talking about his remakes. Blade Runner 2 is not directed by Ridley Scott.
I was going to say that, but I was going to...
That's why it was really, really good. And I think Blade Runner 2 is better than the original because it was directed by Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, I said it.
You're going to get people...
Bro, that's the second time I've said it on this podcast. Come at me, bro.
I was gonna say sidebar. There's a couple of spoilers I wanted to talk. Just
go for it.
One, why did they kill Pedro Pascal so early? What the fuck is wrong with you people? 2,
I wanted Paul Mescal to die and not and have Connie Nielsen live.
Fuck it, right?
Think about it. He continues his legacy of all the men in his family dying, and 2, Connie Nielsen has to watch one more man in her life die. And
I thought that Pedro Pascal, for some reason, you know what, they were giving it away that I thought he was Lucius, and I was like, wait, we're just gonna keep
the trailer messed with us.
Incest relationships going, like, damn. But he's a gilf hunter too, huh? But yeah, man, this movie's mid.
With that being said, this has been another episode of Take 303. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you, Eddie, for filling in for JP once again on another movie that JP will not really want to miss.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of him.
Follow us on Instagram at take.303 and at fortway_media. Subscribe to us on YouTube for our last 4 episodes. And stay tuned for the Broskers, the question of the week. And we're going to keep this question going on for the next 4 episodes. What do you think is going to be nominated for the Oscar?
Poll question: what was better, Spartacus or Gladiator?
Let's just put all the sword and sandal movies. We'll put a couple up. Gladiator, Jason and the Argonauts, A Knight's Tale. We'll throw that in there somewhere. I don't know. We'll have fun with the poll this week. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week when we watch Wicked.